Welcome into the Cowboys Report, presented today by Roan. I'm Tom Downey, and I'm wearing one of their awesome dress shirts because I want to feel comfortable when I'm in the office and on air, and Roan's dress shirts help me do that and provide a very professional look as well. Mobility's everything, and Roan's comfortable four-way stretch fabric provides that breathability and flexibility that I crave in the office and on air, and try what you want as well. Get 20% off when you use promo code CHATSPORTS over at roan.com/chatsports. More on them and these topics on today's show. Some practice squad moves made by the Dallas Cowboys. We'll break that down here to begin the show. Updates on Tyron Smith. The playoff picture, there are clinching scenarios for the Dallas Cowboys, and somehow still the latest on Odell Beckham. But first, the news of the day. The Cowboys have added a fatty to their defensive line on the practice squad. Anthony Rush, who really is a big boy, and I mean that in a positive sense, folks, don't worry. They've added Rush to the practice squad following the Jonathan Hankins injury. More on that in a moment, by the way. Rush has bounced around a lot in his NFL career. He started games, and he truly is a mammoth human being. You're looking at upwards of 350 pounds, folks. His most recent stint was on the Eagles practice squad. They cut him last week, so the Cowboys now looking for some interior defensive line depth. They add Rush, who's started games, mostly with the Falcons. Now, you might see some people tell you, Dan Quinn's guy in Atlanta. Well, they actually never overlap, so no, that's not what happened there. But Rush is a giant human who can help absorb some double teams and hopefully keep your linebackers clean. 30 career games for Rush, the majority of which, at least the plurality of which, have come with the Atlanta Falcons. Began his career in Philly. Hey, you're also bringing a guy who maybe knows the playbook a little bit for Philadelphia, which is always a good thing, just to help you any way he can in a very pivotal upcoming divisional game. Rush's 4 TFLs, half a sack. He's a nose guard all the way through. Now, I don't know how much you'll really see him on the active roster, even game day call-ups from the practice squad, despite the loss of Jonathan Hankins. He will not return, at least in the regular season, due to a pectoral injury. Sprain/strain is what that's been referred to so far. It's a fairly significant loss for Dallas. Hankins is playing really well. The stat sheet might not show it with 1 TFL and 20 tackles, but he does the dirty work for you up front. The nose guard, the fatties only campaign worked out actually really well since Dan Quinn came aboard, but Hankins' loss is significant. We'll see if he goes on IR. The Cowboys don't have to from a roster numbers perspective, but they're kind of light on game day call-ups from the practice squad on the offensive line, so I wouldn't be shocked to see Hankins go on there, and that would put him out for the regular season. Now, to make room, going back to Anthony Rush here, the Cowboys need to free up a practice squad spot, at least in the short term, and Malik Jefferson, the linebacker out of Texas, who, of course, they signed kind of later in the offseason process, he has been released by the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see if he comes back, but for now, Jefferson is done. So be honest with me, folks. Do you like the move to add Anthony Rush? Type in Y for yes, or you can type in N for no in the comment section. It's the pinned comment, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Y for yes, N for no. Let's talk Tyron Smith now, as the Cowboys are planning on having him play against the Jacksonville Jags this upcoming Sunday. Smith has not played this year due to that torn hamstring he unfortunately suffered in the training camp preseason time frame there. The Cowboys' plan is to insert Tyron Smith at left tackle, although I am very curious to see if he gets every single rep in his first game back. There's been some doubts if the Cowboys trust Jason Peters to handle a 60-ish snap workload there, and maybe in Tyron's first game back and only a very few padded practices. They didn't have any last week. Might be one they're a little bit sloppy. I'm curious as to how they approach the Tyron Smith return, but Dr. Jerry said it's coming, so he always does that there. If you're getting prime and healthy Tyron Smith, that is a significant upgrade for your Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not being anti-Tyler Smith. We'll get to the O-line here in a moment more in depth, but Tyron Smith is a Hall of Famer, and that's something that you always want to have on your active roster. Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Roan. If you're stuck with those old, uncomfortable, tight, not fitting properly dress shirts. Let's be honest, it was due for a radical reinvention, and Rhone has stepped up to the challenge. Their commuter shirt, which I'm wearing right now, is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible shirt known to man. Here's why. They got the comfortable 4-way stretch fabric, meaning it's going to give you some breathability, some flexibility when you're at the office, out and about, at a wedding, whatever. Especially if it's a hot wedding in the summer, you'll actually feel pretty good there. I'm a big fan of the look good, feel good, play good mentality, and it's easy to feel confident in a wrinkle-free shirt. Without the hassle, they have wrinkle release technology. The wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the shirt. Kind of that easy. They got Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, so you'll be smelling fresh all day, even if you're at the office for the entire day, then you're out on the bars or whatever. It's also 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether, because let's be honest, that's just a huge pain in the butt. Comfort, mobility, versatility from office, happy hour, out and about, whatever. They've got you feeling fresh and comfortable all day. The commuter shirt can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to Rhone.com/chatsports and use promo code chatsports to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to Rhone, spelled RHONE.com/chatsports, and use code chatsports. It's time to find your corner office comfort. That's Rhone.com/chatsports, RHONE.com. Links in the comments section and the description, by the way. More now on the offensive line. This is what I would like to see the unit look like when they're trotting out their A lineup. I would not rule out the possibility of rotation, at least at right tackle, if not left tackle as well. And I think you'll still see the MAC package where Connor McGovern comes in and plays some fullback reps for you, especially with maybe Jake Ferguson not being able to play this week because of his concussion. But I do think we will see Tyron Smith out there this week for the Cowboys at left tackle. Do you agree with me? Will Tyron Smith start this week? Type in 1 for yes, he will, or you can type in 2 for no, he will not. I think he's back. I'm typing in my 1, but I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Coming up shortly, we will break down the latest on Odell Beckham. Yeah, there's still more. Some interesting stuff that's been sent out from the Beckham camp that we'll get to at the end of today's show. But first, let's check in on where the playoff picture sits for your Dallas Cowboys. Remember the rules, folks. The division leaders get the first 4 seeds and a home game to open up the playoffs, which means the Cowboys right now, because they trail by 2 games against the Philadelphia Eagles, are the 5 seed. So even though they have the second best record, including tiebreaker over Minnesota, they're the 5 seed at this moment. They play the Jacksonville Jags this week. For the first time in a very long time, they're actually in Jacksonville. It's been well over a decade since last time they played, with Jags being the home team. They actually played in London that week. What's nice, though, is we now sit December 14th, or maybe later, depending on what day you're watching this video, but the Cowboys have clinching scenarios in early December, which is awesome. Here are their clinching scenarios. There are 4 of them, not including ties, 3 of which secure them a playoff spot. The simplest answer is win. You beat the Jags and you lock up at least a playoff spot regardless of anything else that happens the rest of the way. Now, there are scenarios in which you can secure a playoff spot. Like, I'm not doing ties because they're un-American. If the Commanders lose against the Giants and the Seahawks lose against the Niners, the Cowboys also lock up a playoff berth, which, of course, you wouldn't know that game until you already play yours, so we'll see. Also, if the Niners lose or the Seahawks lose to the Niners and the Lions lose, then the Cowboys secure a spot. The Cowboys also lock up, at minimum, the 6th seed if they beat the Jags, and on Thursday Night Football, if the Seahawks lose against the 49ers. It just comes down to where does the seeding break out there. So in reality, the Cowboys, barring a historic collapse that would get everyone on this coaching staff fired probably, the Cowboys will have secured back-to-back playoff spots for the first time in a very, 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 and way too long time as well, which I think, if we're being honest, is probably some credit to Mike McCarthy there, right? Garrett couldn't. It should be, because how many of you think, and I know we were all there, you're down both starting tackles technically right now. You were down many key pieces. Your quarterback went down. Previous regimes, looking at you, Garrett, could never have handled that. In fact, they didn't. When the quarterback went down or the tackle went down under Garrett, things were a disaster. That's not been the case for Mike McCarthy, so I want to give him at least a little bit of credit there. Coop being all in the background for that one. Cowboys remaining schedule here, by the way, at the Jags. Eagles, their final home game at Tennessee for a early Thursday night football game in between Christmas and New Year's. Then Week 18 at the Commanders, and it's a tough schedule down the stretch. The Jags are no pushover. The Eagles and Titans are going to be playoff teams unless the Titans collapse themselves. And the Commanders might be fighting for a playoff spot in Week 18. Now, you also might know by then whether or not you have secured a chance for the number 1 seed if you're playing for anything, which means at least probably more for the Commanders in Week 18 than it does for Dallas potentially. Tough stretch there. Hey, you know what? Win some games. Make a push for the 1 seed still. If you go 3-1 over the final 4 games, you're not going to get the 1 seed, but I'll feel pretty good about that outcome in the end. We will have you guys covered for every single one of those games for our watch parties, daily videos all throughout the holiday season. We've got you guys covered. Hit that subscribe button right now for free Cowboys videos every single day right here on YouTube. As promised, we'll wrap up today's show with some Odell Beckham conversation. Jerry Jones says the Cowboys aren't out on OBJ. There's still some interest there. And the reports out of Dallas from the Cowboys have been like, oh, adding T.Y. doesn't mean we're out on OBJ. I don't believe that. Because you added T.Y. to help you this year. Now, you still might be in on Odell Beckham, but it might be more for next year. And there was a report from ESPN today that, you know what, Odell Beckham's kind of maybe keeping his eye out now on the 2023 free agency where he can be the prize, which haven't played for a year, Odell Beckham. Maybe it's not going to go as well as you think it's going to go. I will make note of what Josina Anderson sent out last night, and I will make note as well that Anderson is very close with the Beckham camp. This is straight from Beckham's camp. So keep that in mind with where that info is coming from. It's not a bad thing, just saying where it's from. I'm told the Cowboys in Beckham's camp spoke Monday night effort to find common ground on basic terms and timing. While a window remains open how this season unfolds, right now OBJ is zoning in on training to his best path at the right value per source, which is a lot of words to actually not say that much. I will interpret it as Beckham's training, like he should have been, maybe a bit earlier in this whole process because it shouldn't have taken this long. He'd be back if he was signed with the Cowboys in September, I promise you that. And we'll see on Odell Beckham. I'm basically out of it, but I want to hear from you guys. Do you still want to sign Odell Beckham Jr.? If not for this year, maybe even just for next year to have some more receiver talent. OBJ for yes, no BJ for no. We're bringing back that way in, baby. So get those votes in for me in the comment section right now. I'm pretty over all of this Odell Beckham Jr. drama. I think Tank Lawrence summed it up best of like, if you're going to help, let's ride. But if it's just the circus, I'm out. And it's kind of become a circus because he can't help you right now. And I think Odell Beckham turned off a lot of teams, by the way, when he's out there publicly saying, I don't see the need to play in the regular season. I do. What are you talking about here, OBJ? Like, you're just going to show up for the playoffs and assume the chemistry and the playbook, all that stuff is built in? I think that's just totally wrong out of Beckham. I think the addition of T.Y. Hilton short term is you were going to put him in that Beckham role of a handful of snaps, maybe 15, 20 for Hilton. Look, if you want to revisit this in the offseason, sure, but I'm out on OBJ specifically of this year. He's just not going to help you in time. So because of that, I'm out.